believed that Jesus was fully human and had no virgin birth. They did, however, believe that he was Messiah. They were essentially the Jewish Christians and felt that they should follow the Torah.
Well, I would have to disagree with that, sir. You see, Jesus believed that some of the Torah established solid moral principles. He had great respect for it. But at the same time, Jesus was the new Torah, God, and he was born to the Virgin Mary. Thus, I find Ebionitism to be a total and complete heresy.
Oh, hello, I see now. Fine, you have exhausted all of my theories except for Sabellianism. Sabellianism I am an expert on. I believe Sabellians believe that Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit were all one God completely. They were not separate from each other, they were just the same thing. But they made themselves known in different ways, 3 to be exact. They think that God himself seen through masks, and that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are all masks that the one God wears, and that he can see him through. It's very, very, very similar to what you say that Catholics believe on the subject, but it is still very different. What do you have to say about this, Mr. Reassure?
Well, yes, I would have to say that that is very close to Christianity. Some people will probably think it makes a lot of sense, but I'm smarter than some people. I would have to say that I commend you for your thought, but it doesn't work for me. God is 3 separate hypostases in one Oisia. I know that you probably have no idea what either of those words mean. I don't either. But I doubt Mr. Tittle does either. But that's what I was taught, and that's what I'm going to argue for.
Who the hell is Mr. Tito?
He is just a disciple of the great Karl Rahner. Don't worry about him. Isn't it about time you get out of my house? I feel like you've pretty much exhausted all your arguments, and you're basically trespassing.
Oh, very much, sir. I must go. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Interesting. Yes, alright. Welcome to this Yes Movie Show. Alright. My first guest, you may have seen him in such movies as Good Will Hunting and What Dreams May Come. It's Robin Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, yeah. Thank you, yeah, hi.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, Chuck, it's been a little while since I've seen you, but, just got done filming a couple movies. I finished, RV2, which is just gonna be great. It's the exact same plot as the first one. And also just got done filming Happy Feet 2.
Ah.
So, it's gonna be awesome, Chuck. It's gonna be a great year.
My name is not Chuck.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah, well, alright. Yeah, well, on another note, I heard that you're a fan of the philosophy of heaven and hell.
Yeah, Chuck, that's really kind of a random thing to be discussing, seeing as I'm Robin Williams,
But this is a philosophy show.
I guess you're right, Chuck. Yeah, you probably saw my film, What Dreams May Come. It was fantastic, great movie. But during my in-depth character study, I really get into the characters. Flubber, that was a good one for me. I really got to understand the little green guy. But I really learned about the afterlife without a need for God, and really got used to the idea. And I believe that when we die, our souls live on, but they don't really understand that they're dead until they're truly, come to that understanding, and then they're truly raised.
Right. Well, I'm not so sure about the whole lack of God thing, but I've actually written about a heaven that is similar. My heaven is a world of ghosts, in which they know that they are dead, but they must become aware of God to be truly happy.
Okay, you believe in a reincarnation then? So when they come to God, they're reincarnated, or?
No.
Oh, well, of course not. But in the movie, my wife and I, my wife in the movie, really, but we were reincarnated, and she killed herself in the movie, and then she went to hell, and I was able to talk her through an understanding of her problem. And through our conversation, she realized that she was dead, and she realized her mistake, and poof, we're in heaven again. And then for her to be able to stay in heaven and be happy, to actually live out the rest of her life in heaven, she had to go, and she had to go back to real life and work through her problems. And it's a really new, different take on the afterlife. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I like it. What do you think about it, Chuck? You like it?
I don't like it at all. I like the part that you were talking about your wife in the movie and convincing her to go to heaven with you. That's good, because that's similar to my ghost and angel conversations. See, what I had was ghosts that would talk to angels, who would convince them to love God fully, and then they would go into heaven. But the whole thing about reincarnation, that's... nah. And there's also the biggest part. The fact that God exists, you bloody idiot. Do you even think about that?
Yeah, it's a bit of an issue, but if you think about it, there's really no God anyway. You've seen my movie Flubber. He's the big thing of everything. Flubber is just... If we can invent Flubber, there's nothing else above it. My movie never claims to press forward Christian views.
Remember, you are talking to one of the best Christian theologians in the 20th century. I think you should take into account that you claim that your theories of incarnation and a heaven without God are absolute truth.
Well, reincarnation, I can understand that being true. In fact, in my past life, I was actually a very well-known philosopher. Have you ever heard of Dante?
You think you were Dante in a previous life?
I was Dante in a previous life.
How do you know this? Whatever. This is probably just some ironic segue thought of by some stupid teenagers. Just continue.
You are so right. Yeah, it is. I believe that hell is a place of infinite punishment. And it's a place where the evil are punished for their sins. And it's been told over and over throughout the years, and has become the commonly held view of hell.
Well, I'm aware, and I know of the contents of your poem, but I'm sure that you're going to explain it anyway, so just...
Of course I will. Dante did believe in God. In fact, he really, went in depth into God. He had a heaven in the Inferno, and hell in that book, in that epic poem that I wrote in my previous life, was the hell created by his minion, who is Satan.
Right.
And I wrote about an image of hell with many rings of torture, such as, the lustful dead are blown about in the winds as they were blown by their lust. I talked of purgatory and of heaven, though those theories are less well known.
Well, I have to say, I agree with your theories some. I understand that your story, like my The Great Divorce, was not meant to be taken seriously, and I agree with the philosophy presented in it. The idea of the book was to present a system for heaven and hell that seems plausible to me. My book allowed me to demonstrate the character flaws that I believe kind of hold people back from heaven. For example, one of the ghosts in my book was a lustful person. I personified his lust, in a stroke of brilliance, as a lizard that sat on his shoulder. In my opinion, it is more important to worry about getting into heaven than to worry about what the contents of heaven are.
Well, whatever. I'm starting to get sick of this argument. Can I give you some advice?
I suppose.
Allow me to quote myself. Never pick a fight with a fat person. They have nothing to lose.
Looks like I've already failed your advice. You are a complete and total idiot. We'll be back next week.